we celebrate the election of our new Pope, the very first Pope Francis. It was certainly an exciting week leading up to the white smoke on Wednesday. As Terry Hegarty now reports, the events began to unfold on Tuesday as the cardinals processed into the Sistine Chapel.
Last Tuesday in Rome, 115 cardinals from across the globe entered the Sistine Chapel to select a successor to Pope Benedict XVI, following his February 28th resignation. Also on Tuesday, Bishop McDonnell celebrated a special daily Mass in St. Michael's Cathedral.
We come together at this Mass to ask God's blessing and the Holy Spirit's inspiration upon those who must make this momentous choice.
A day later, as evening fell in Rome, clear white smoke poured from the chimney on the roof of the Sistine Chapel, indicating that a pope had been chosen. For a little more than an hour, the world waited to see who had been selected from among the cardinals to lead the 1.2 billion Catholics in the world. Then, shortly after 3 p.m. local time, Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio from Argentina emerged as Pope Francis. Cheers and applause greeted the new pontiff. He asked the crowd before him in St. Peter's Square for their prayers.
Preghiamo sempre per noi, l'uno per l'altro. Preghiamo per tutto il mondo, perché ci sia una grande fratellanza.
My first impression is that he's a very humble person. The way that he approached the Roman community this evening, he is depending on our prayers and he's letting himself be guided by the Holy Spirit. So I feel that it's going to be a great Pope.
76 years old, the new pope was born in Buenos Aires to Italian parents. Having lost a lung to infection at an early age, he nonetheless went on to become a Jesuit, eventually being made Archbishop of his native diocese by Pope John Paul II in 1998. His time there spent as a champion for the poor, shunning the elegant trappings of his episcopacy, riding a bus to the chancery, and always remaining close to his flock. A deeply spiritual man who has lived a remarkably simple life. Locally on Wednesday, members of the Legion of Mary prayer group at St. Michael's Cathedral Parish gathered for their weekly prayer meeting. Members were thrilled with the selection of a cardinal from Latin America.
Para mí que sea un latino tiene un gran significado.
She said to be a Latin it has a great significance.
Porque mucha de los católicos, la mayoría de los católicos estamos en Latinoamérica.
She said the majority of the Catholic are Latin America. It's 40%.
Entonces, pues es grato que tengamos un papa que sea latinoamericano.
And it's great that we have a pope that is Spanish from Latin America.
On Wednesday evening, more than 100 parishioners gathered at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Springfield for the 7 p.m. daily Mass. The Mass was the first opportunity for parishioners to gather as a community and pray for the newly elected Pope. Monsignor Juan Garcia, pastor of Blessed Sacrament Parish and a native of Peru, says that he and his parishioners now have an even greater responsibility to commit to the Catholic Church.
My first reaction to myself was that these increases our responsibility as Catholic Latinos throughout the world. Obviously, now the world will be expectant of a special contribution of the Church in this continent of America.
Marlon, a native of Honduras, says she has great hope for the Church under the new pontiff.
That we all come together as a whole family and celebrate and live based on the Holy Spirit, our religion.
40% of the world's Catholics live in Latin America. The growth of Latinos in the Catholic faith was likely a key factor on the minds of the cardinal electors, hoping to inspire an already vibrant population. Father Gary Daly says that even with a rather speedy process, the cardinal electors were careful in their selection.
They must have seen in this man a holy man, a humble man, a simple man, and I think it's indicative with the name he chose. Francis was a simple man. Francis was a reformer. And I think that we can see some great things coming from this Pope as he leads the Church through these next several years.
And among his first tasks, the first full day as pontiff, checking out of his previous lodgings in Rome, visiting a Marian shrine, and celebrating Mass with those who elected him. For Catholics worldwide, there is great anticipation as to what the future under Pope Francis holds. A clearer glimpse may come with his homily Tuesday, when his inaugural Mass takes place at the Vatican, perhaps providentially on the feast of St. Joseph the Worker, as there is much work for the new Pope Francis to undertake. Reporting for Reel to Reel, this is Terry Hegarty.